to Nizzy Sports Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of the Packers' upcoming draft here and what they should be doing at the wide receiver position. Obviously, Davante Adams got traded over to the Las Vegas Raiders a few days ago, you guys, so I thought it'd be fun to come out with a quick video here, kind of talking about some of the wide receiver prospects in this year's draft and which ones I think the Packers should target coming up in the 2022 NFL draft here. We got about a month away from draft day. So yeah, you guys, let's go ahead and get right into it real quick before we start breaking down the top 5 wideouts that I'd like the Packers to take a look at in this year's draft. You can go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Been getting a lot of support lately on the channel, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, man, let's go ahead and start breaking down some of these top wide receiver prospects, getting ready for their NFL draft here this year. We'll start off in the number 1 spot with Drake London out of USC. I mean, this guy is an absolute beast. Ended up only playing in 8 games last season, ended up breaking his ankle. So obviously the season got ended a little bit short there. We'll have to see if that ends up impacting his draft stock at all. He's supposed to be projected to go in the top 10 to top 15 of the first round. So he's one of those guys, if the Packers did want to try and make a move for him, or most likely would have to trade up, trade a couple picks to move up in that first round to be able to select this guy. But nonetheless, he has all the credentials to be a great talent in the NFL. Definitely someone I think the Packers should be looking into. Drake London is 6'5", 210 pounds, so an absolute beast at wideout position. He's only 20 years old, so he's still got a lot of good years left in him. He's not one of those 23, 24-year-old college players who's kind of, played 4 or 5 years in college already. He's still got lots of years left ahead of him, only being 20 years old. In the 2021 season, like I said, he only ended up playing in 8 games because he did break his ankle halfway through the season last year. But he did have 88 catches for 1,084 yards and 7 touchdowns in those 8 games, which is just absolutely outstanding. 1,000-yard season. I think they play about 14 games in college, so almost half a season, and he's got over 1,000 yards receiving with almost 100 receptions. Just absolutely outstanding numbers. 12.3 average yards per catch as well. In the 2020 season, he had 33 catches for 500 yards and 3 tuds. Now, I'm not too sure how accurate these 2020 season numbers are going to be for comparing wise, just because I believe that was the pandemic year, so I'm not too sure how many games these guys played. I don't think any of the college teams had a full season that year, so their numbers might be dropped down a little bit lower from what you've seen in 2021. It's not because they were absolute trash that year. It's most likely because they didn't play a full season just because of the pandemic. But nonetheless, this guy's an absolute beast, like I said, at the wideout position. If the Packers do want to make a move on this guy, I think they'll have to trade up in the first round. So we'll have to see what happens. I'd be shocked if he ends up dropping, maybe because of his broken ankle, and he drops to the late first round. I definitely see the Packers taking this guy. Like I said, he fits the credentials for what they look for in a wide receiver, being the 6'5" frame, 210 pounds as well. So he's not a small guy. He's definitely a guy that can go up there and high point the ball, and just be one of those physical dominant receivers out on the outside. For the Packers. So we'll have to see what happens on that front, you guys. And then in the number 2 slot here, the second receiver I got the Packers taking a look at is Christian Watson, coming out of North Dakota State. He's 22 years old, 6'5", 208 pounds, so another big-bodied receiver. Like I said, the Packers love going for the bigger guys, so it wouldn't shock me if they end up taking one of these two in the first round here. Like I said, having that 6'5" frame, being able to go up there and high point some of those balls, just being a bigger target for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. Obviously losing Davante Adams, we're gonna need a big time threat on the outside. So Christian Watson could be one of those guys to target as well. In the 2021 season, he had 43 catches for 800 yards and 7 touchdowns and 18.6 average per catch. So a little bit above Drake London's 12.3 average. But nonetheless, this dude's high quality talent. In the 2020 season, he had 18 catches for 437 yards and 1 tud. I know it's not huge numbers, but the crazy thing is only 18 catches to get almost 500 yards just shows you, how many yards he's getting on average is just insane. He does run really quick as well. He had a 4.36 40-yard dash time at the combine. So obviously he's got some good top end speed as well. Could take the top off the defensive, be a big time deep threat for you. So it'll be interesting to see if the Packers decide to go for him. He's obviously a little more seasoned, I guess you could say, being 22 years old. He's got a couple extra years in college, so he's going to have a little bit more, maybe of a higher IQ possibly, just from, being in the system for a little bit longer, being around football for a little bit longer than Drake London. But nonetheless, he'd be another good candidate. I think he's more projected to go into the top 50, so he could be a guy that's available for you in that late first or second round as well. So the Packers probably would not have to trade up or give up any draft capital or players to be able to move up to select Christian Watson. So that's a good option as well if you want another big-bodied receiver. If Drake London's already off the board, Packers could go ahead and select Christian Watson. And then over into the number 3 guys, I got Treylon Burks here as another guy that we could be selecting here. I really hope we get this one. This is probably my favorite receiver out of all these guys on the list that I have. Like I said, I'd really love to see the Packers be able to select this guy. He's 6'3", 225 pounds, just an absolute beast. A little bit shorter than Drake London and Christian Watson, but he's got a good 15 pounds extra weight on him. I've heard a lot of comparisons to kind of like an A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf's body style, and just the capabilities. So this guy would just be an absolute wrecking ball out on the field for us. Just one of those big-bodied wide receivers that just absolutely punish the defense of our opponents. Played in the University of Arkansas, 21-year-old prospect here, you guys. In 2021 season, he had 66 catches for 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns, averaging 16.7 yards per catch. So some really nice numbers last year for him, especially in the touchdown department, getting double-digit scoring in touchdowns with 11 last season. He also had 7 touchdowns in the 2020 season to go along with 51 catches and 820 yards. So his production's been there for the last couple of years. Obviously, like I said, a big-bodied, strong dude like that. He's got that body style of an A.J. Brown. I mean, he would fit in very nicely on this Green Bay Packers squad. He can probably do some nice blocking in the run game for you as well, which is definitely something the Packers like to have their wide receivers be capable of doing. So I think, like I said, this would be my top selection for the Packers. He's projected to go mid to late first round, so there's a good chance that he's still sitting there with the 22nd overall pick. Or there's the potential you might only have to trade up maybe 2 or 3 slots to select him, maybe at 17th or 18th or something like that, depending on what some of these other teams decide to do. But Treylon Burks, you guys, I think would be a great fit with the Packers. We'll have to see what they decide to do on that one. Next, we're going to take a look at Chris Olave. I really like the looks of this guy, too. If we had to pick 2 guys off this list that I think the Packers will acquire, I think it'll be Treylon Burks and Chris Olave. Chris Olave is supposed to be there at the end of the first round as well, possibly into the second round. A little bit of a smaller guy, only a 6'1" frame, 188 pounds. So he's not a huge guy, but his route running ability is phenomenal. He had 13 touchdowns last season, so his nose for the end zone is there. He's obviously got good capabilities of hauling it in the tight spaces within the end zone. Averaged a 14.4 average yards per catch last season, 65 receptions total. In the 2020 season, he had 50 receptions for 729 yards and 7 touchdowns. He had 936 yards in the 2021 season. So some good numbers overall in both years for him. Like I said, he's only 21 years old as well. He ran a 4.39 40-yard dash at the combine. So this guy's got some good top-end speed as well. Just a little bit smaller of a body than a guy like Christian Watson, who ran the 4.36. But he is projected to go mid to late first round as well. So like I said, this is going to be one of those guys you either are going to have to take, if you want Treylon Burks and Chris Olave, you're probably going to have to take both of those guys in the first round to be able to acquire both of them. And then we got another guy here that I think will be available, the last guy on our list, you guys, and I think he's going to be available to take in that second round if the Packers decide to only take one wideout in the first round. And that's Sky Moore. Coming out of Western Michigan, you guys, he's 5'10", 195 pounds, so a smaller guy as well, 21 years old. But this dude is an absolute beast. He was the #1 option for Western Michigan. He had an absolutely outstanding 2021 season, 95 receptions for 1,292 yards, almost 1,300 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns, 13.6 yards per average on the catch there, you guys. Huge numbers comparatively to his 2020 season. Obviously, like I said, possibly the pandemic is what slowed him down there with the 25 catches, 388 yards, and 3 tuds in the 2020 season. But like I said, 95 catches, almost 100 catches and 1,300 yards last year. This dude can get it done for you in a multitude of ways. Like I said, he was the main target there in Western Michigan. He had a 4.41 40-yard dash, so he's not going to take the top off like crazy. But he's still got some good top-end speed at 4.4. And he's projected to be a late first round to second round pick. So like I said, this guy definitely could be available with our second round option that we got from the Raiders. Obviously, if we do decide to go take two wideouts in the first round, which I don't see happening. I see the Packers taking a wideout in the second round and a wideout in the first round, you guys. So like I said, if we could get Treylon Burks or Chris Olave in that first round, would be huge. somehow if one of those guys falls to the second round and we can maybe trade up and get both Chris Alave and Treylon Burks, that would be phenomenal. That would be the main two that I would like to see the most. Drake London would be great to have. I'd love to see him on our team as well. But like I said, at the end of the day, this guy's probably going to go in the top 15, so you're going to have to trade away some draft capital to move up and grab him. And I really don't see us losing that much if we were to select Treylon Burks or Chris Alave in that first round. I think those guys are top-end talents that will be able to produce and provide decent production out on the field right away in the rookie season for us. Other than that, you guys, that pretty well rounds out this video. Packers are obviously going to have to go address some of the wide receiver options in free agency as well. MVS is a target to bring back now. Obviously, Bob Tunyon at the tight end position just got re-signed to a one-year deal. Personally, I'd love to see Jarvis Landry on the squad. I just think he's got the right attitude and mentality to play for the Green Bay Packers. He's obviously used to playing in the cold as well, being with Cleveland the last couple of years here. So I think he'd be a great veteran presence in that locker room, good leadership qualities with him. And I think he'd go along nicely with some of these young guys in the draft here. So it'll be interesting to see what the Packers decide to do, but that's the top 5 that I got on my list, you guys. So like I said, Sky Moore, Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, Christian Watson, and Drake London are the 5 guys that I'm looking into. I'm hoping the Packers at least take one of these guys, if not 2. But we'll have to see what happens come draft day. You guys should be an exciting month leading up to the draft here. We'd love your guys' opinion in the comments section down below. Do you like the list of wide receivers that I selected for the Green Bay Packers to select one or 2 of these guys? Who would you maybe add to the list that I missed off this list? Would love your guys' opinion in the comments section down below, like I said. That pretty well wraps up for this one. You guys, please go ahead and like this video. If you like sporting content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, man, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Channel.